Including a head of, a sitting member of parliament for Runyenjes.
Yes.
No, not Runyenjes, Manyata.
Manyata, this is Gitonga Mukunji.
Mukunji.
Yes.
That's right.
So, and you say this act is inflaming the country.
Yes.
How so?
When a whole president says, young people who pursuant to a lawful demonstration, right, end up having police stations burned down, how can that be a declaration of war? I mean, look at it. It's the president who can actually declare war, but not war on citizens, not war on your own citizens. Declaration of war is with regard to another country, okay? So I think he's lost it. President William Ruto needs to retrace his steps and recognize as the chief administrator of a nation, if you like, a CEO. He cannot talk that language. He looks very angry. He looks like he's lost it. He's lost his sense of balance and articulation. No, articulation is trying, but he's articulating things that are baffling. So, young people, young children, how can they declare war? All they're saying, for example, when Albert Ojwang was killed at a police station, Kenyans continue to express frustration with the fact that police stations should not be morgues. And then what happened when they were burying Albert Ojwang in Homa Bay? Thousands of young people went out and burned that police station where originally Albert Ojwang was taken. Are you saying that is a declaration of war? Of course it is not.
Will you characterize that as terrorism?
It is not even terrorism. By the way, I would be surprised if the 1,000 plus young people in Homa Bay would be hunted and taken to Kahawa West, where I was yesterday and today and tomorrow I'll be there, right? To tell Kenyans, you cannot, and by the way, the Prevention of Terrorism Act, call it POTA.
Yes.
Lawyers like to use short forms. So Prevention of Terrorism Act.
Yes.
The definition of what is a terrorism act is very clear. And there is a proviso to Article 2, actually Section 2 of that act. And it was passed as Act number 30 of 2012. I was in Parliament, and I can clearly remember the intention of Parliament was not to end up radicalizing the citizens and calling them terrorists, as William Ruto is trying to suggest, a declaration of war, terror, and that kind of thing. Where the act is very clear, where, and we spend a lot of time explaining even to the magistrate, and we're getting our ruling, where pursuant to a lawful demonstration, things get out of hand like they do, all right? Then you cannot charge young Kenyans with terrorism. There's a clear exception because adequate notice was given about June 25th that young Kenyans are going to commemorate the deaths of their loved ones and their friends and their peers, and again Sabasaba. And in fact, I remember on the part of the United Opposition, we gave that notice. This is why I ended up playing the wreath outside on Parliament House. They could not allow us to get to Parliament itself. They had put their singenge type of stuff, which, by the way, the courts have ruled today. The Inspector General of Police is restricted, is now been contained. We hope you follow that during the next spate of demonstrations. But the point here, Ainea, is that you cannot charge Kenyans with acts of terrorism if they have been taking part in a lawful assembly or a lawful demonstration.
And by the way, if I may just butt in, you know, the president also faulted the High Court's ruling when you talk about the barring of police roadblocks.
Yes.
That you know, we got that particular ruling from the courts today during Dembo Say. He says it's unfair to majority of Kenyans who lack bodyguards.
Who lack?
Bodyguards.
What has that to do? It is members of parliament who are bodyguards, okay?
That's
who
what
barricade themselves.
Yes.
You know, Kenyans elect members of parliament to go to parliament. It's a house for the people. But you cannot even allow citizens or constituents to reach their members of parliament and to serve them with petitions.
Okay.
But,
So
but the president also knows he can get the attorney general to make an appeal. That's a normal thing in a constitutional democracy, in a country under the rule of law.
Okay.
Okay.
So I wanted just to do a follow-up with that particular question, because you say this act is inflaming the country.
Yes.
But critics credibly also argue that the united opposition, their rhetoric, which we had yesterday, particularly the framing the current administration as a hostile regime,
Yes.
could be seen as heightening national tensions. If I may just read verbatim what was said yesterday by Mokesa Kitui.
Yes. No, he was doing it on behalf of all of us.
Yes, on
I
behalf,
was in
of course.
court myself,
you were in court by
And
that
they were
time.
actually doing it from SKM Center.
Right, so if he says, quote unquote, we are calling the Kenyan Republic to take this regime as a hostile regime.
Yes.
It's an enemy of the Constitution and the people. It has declared war. And on the people, it has declared war.
Yes.
On citizens of Kenya. And we, the people, must resist to be dragged into a state of anarchy. The architects, enablers, financiers, the executors of this regime's violence will be held personally liable, both locally and internationally.
That's right.
The day of reckoning is coming. No badge, no title, and no political alliance will shield you from justice. Are you, as United Opposition Kenya, also not inflaming the country?
Absolutely not.
By
we are
calling
stressing,
on Kenyans to take this regime
yes,
as a hostile regime?
Hostile regime. What do you make of a regime that has, say, a convoy of 10 numberless, plate numberless, if you like, Subarus, with men carrying arms there, all right? And they invade Ngong town, right? Allow goons to go and plunder people's private property. And then we all know they are actually acting under instructions, because under the criminal, let me actually be specific, the International Criminal Court Act, the ICC, we call it the Rome Statute, says the persons bearing the highest responsibility. In this case, it would be the IG, or if you like now, William Ruto himself, who has actually said, right, that we will not take it anymore, enough is enough, with a lot of fury,